All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a huge, and I mean huge problem in software development. It's this massive, expensive delay between when an engineer makes a decision and when you actually see the financial impact of it. It's a broken feedback loop, and we're going to talk about how to fix it. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? An engineer knows instantly if their code breaks the build. The terminal lights up, alarms go off. But if that exact same code is just expensive, well, that damage doesn't show up until weeks later, when the cloud bill lands in finance, and by then, it's way too late.
So just how big is this problem, really? Let's start with a number. 25%. Yep, that's right. A full quarter of all the money we pour into the cloud is essentially just waste. Think about it. That's zombie dev environments, over-provisioned databases, idle machines just humming along, burning cash for no reason at all.
Now, why does this happen? Honestly, this chart tells the whole story. Look at who's held accountable for cloud costs. You've got the cloud ops team, you've got the finance team, and way down at the bottom, the development team. The people who are literally making the decisions that drive the spending have the least amount of accountability. That disconnect is the absolute heart of the problem. So let's dig into that. This brings us to our first section, where we're going to unpack what I call the billion-dollar time lag. Now, it's super important to get this straight. This is not because engineers don't care about money, it's because they're incentivized to do other things, right? Their job is to ship features fast and keep the lights on. Success is measured in velocity and reliability, not cost savings. In fact, a staggering 55% of developers just flat out ignore cost management. And can you blame them when 86% say it takes them over a week just to find an idle resource? The feedback loop isn't slow, it's just broken.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. How in the world do we fix it? Well, that brings us to section 2, shifting cost to the left. This is all about moving that financial awareness way earlier in the process.
You know, this whole shift left idea isn't some brand new crazy concept. We've done this before. We did it with testing, right? We started catching bugs early when they were cheap and easy to fix. Then we did it with security, building it in from the start instead of bolting it on at the end. Well, this is the next logical step. It's the new frontier, applying that same exact logic to cost, making it a concern before anything ever gets deployed. And that's the whole game right there. The goal is to stop treating cost like some historical document that finance gets mad about a month late. Instead, we treat it like a first-class engineering metric, right alongside performance, security, and uptime. It's about giving engineers the data they need to make smart decisions in the moment. So, that's the theory. But how do you actually do this? How do you make it real? That brings us to section 3, code, costs, and guardrails. And this is where a platform like Harness really comes into play. Let's look at the before and after. The old way? Man, it's basically what I call merge and pray. You push your code, cross your fingers, and hope you don't get an angry email from finance in a few weeks. The Harness way flips that on its head. It puts the cost analysis right inside the developer's workflow, so you see the financial impact of your changes before you even think about hitting that merge button. So what does a developer actually see? Picture this. You're in your pull request. Harness gives you a simple, clear breakdown. Here's the summary of the infrastructure you're changing, here's whether it passes the company's rules, and here's the magic bullet, an estimated cost impact. Is this change going to add $5 a month to the bill or $5,000? Now you know, right away.
So that policy check I just mentioned, that's powered by something called Open Policy Agent, or OPA. The easiest way to think about it is like automated guardrails for your cloud. The company can set the rules, things like no one can spin up this giant expensive instance type, or every resource has to be tagged with a team name, and OPA just automatically enforces them. No more costly mistakes slipping through the cracks.
And the optimization doesn't just stop before you merge. Harness uses AI to hunt down one of the biggest money wasters out there, idle resources. Its auto-stopping feature is smart enough to see when your non-production environments aren't being used, at night on the weekends, and it automatically shuts them down, then brings them right back up when you need them. We're talking savings of up to 80% on that spend. That's huge. And this brings up a really important point in Section 4. Cost isn't some isolated problem you can solve with one little tool. It's part of a much bigger picture. And that's where an AI-powered DevOps platform comes in. This chart is super interesting. It shows where we are as an industry. While a good chunk of us are leaning on AI, almost half are still stuck doing a mix of AI and manual work.
That means there's a massive opportunity to get smarter and more automated about all of this. That's exactly the problem Harness is built to solve.
What's so powerful about a platform approach is that it solves the right problem for the right person. Your engineer, they finally get the cost context they've been missing. Your DevOps folks, they can stop firefighting and start embedding cost controls into the pipeline. The CTO can empower their teams to own their spend. And the CFO, they finally get the complete visibility and control they've been asking for. It's about breaking down those silos we talked about at the very beginning.
And that leads us to the ultimate payoff, our final section, from cost center to innovation. Because this is what it's really all about.
You know, AWS has this fantastic term for this, the innovation dividend. It's such a great way to put it. Every single dollar you save by getting rid of waste isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's a dollar you can now reinvest into building cool new features, hiring another engineer, or actually pushing your business forward.
And you don't have to just take my word for it. The industry is really taking notice of this integrated approach. For the second year in a row, Gartner named Harness a leader in its Magic Quadrant for DevOps platforms. That's a huge validation of this whole vision.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. That slow, broken feedback loop between your engineers and your budget, is it just costing you money, or is it also costing you innovation? Is it costing you speed? Is it frustrating your best people? Because fixing it isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about building a fundamentally better way to build software.